Peace, peace, peace. How you, family? Um, Today's topic: learn your species. But before I get into that, I want to pick up where I was cut off at previously before. But I'm gonna sum that up. Basically, if you're getting 8 hours of sleep at night and you're waking up in the morning and you're still tired, that means you're malnourished. You shouldn't require sugar or caffeine or energy drink to energize you in the morning. You're malnourished. You're nutrient deficient. That means you need to put the proper nutrients in your body, not drugs such as sugar and caffeine, which are, dopamines and things that are going to make your adrenaline rush unnecessarily. Basically, these things are harmful to your immune system, to your cardiovascular system, respiratory system, different things like that. The milk that you're putting in the coffee with the cream and the sugar, it's kind of like, liquid that um, slowly but surely. Um, you don't gotta take my word for that though. And also, when I was talking about the breath thing, I just wanted to say that with that, that's basically depending on what you're eating. If you're not digesting it fast enough, that means it's rotting inside of your stomach, which happens often when you're eating meat, because it takes a significant amount of time for certain meats to break down. So they tend to rot inside of your body. Um, and that's the smell that comes out the bad breath. Morning breath is not normal. That you shouldn't have bad breath in the morning. People say, don't act like your shit don't stink. Well, your shit shouldn't stink. Um, you know, um, Also, even when you wipe your ass, it shouldn't really be anything on the paper. Um, I mean, that's just healthy bowel movements. So a lot of people think they're having healthy bowel movements, but if those things aren't occurring, you might want to reconsider. Um, yeah, so it's very important what you put inside your body. When you put dead things in your body and those things decay inside your body, you tend to fester of death. That's what that smell is. When you eat things that are alive, you don't have that problem. Um, but see, this all ties into the topic of the day, which is to learn your species. So you have to realize that genetically, melanated people, quote unquote, black people, are genetically, chemically different. They're chemically, genetically different. Although we'll remove the genetics, our chemical makeup and design is totally different. Our base of life, you know, um, our people, you know, have a tendency of trying to do what other people are trying to do. And you have to realize that if that's not your species, why would you try and mimic that species? For example, you don't see the monkeys mimicking the elephants. You don't see the cheetahs mimicking the lions or the hyenas mimicking the wildebeest or, the hyenas mimicking the jackal or, you don't see the pigeons uh, uh, um, mimicking eagles. You know, catch the drift of what I'm saying. You don't see a kangaroo mimicking a koala. But people have this strange notion that they're supposed to be what you call versatile. That their look is supposed to change, their appearance is supposed to change day to day. Look like a new person, like a different person, which you know that's out of species, which that's out of your nature. That's out of the nature of your species. You're not designed to look different every day, especially to the superficial, materialistic extent that people take it to. It's totally unnecessary. And actually, vanity, root word, vain, you know. Um, so I think what people really need to realize is that you have to do what fits your species, what's for your species. You can't keep trying to go outside your species. If your hair is a certain texture or is meant to be a certain way, accept that, embrace that, master that. Don't try and alter it. Don't try and do anything different to it. Don't try and put something to it that doesn't belong with it. Malaysian hair belongs in Malaysian heads. If you're not Malaysian, you shouldn't have Malaysian hair in your head, or Indian or any other type of hair. If you're not that type of person, you shouldn't have that type of hair in your head if that's not your hair type. But people have this reptilian thought process. They're thinking from the reptilian part of their brain, the lower part of their brain. See, reptiles change. Chameleons, shapeshifters, not shape but color. The color changes due to environment. Sometimes to catch a prey, sometimes to avoid a predator. But they change their skin. They change their colors for reasons related to survival. Now ask yourself, would you survive without what you call versatility? Would you be able to survive without changing your hair, your hat, your shoes, your clothes, so forth and so on every day, changing your face every day, changing your makeup every day, trying to reconstruct your makeup every day? You don't need a body shape to shape your body. It's very simple. Our people have grown to become lazy, and laziness is part of ignorance, which ignorance kills. See, our people have grown to want things fast. They want fast results as opposed to putting in the work necessary to get the proper results. The most necessary results, the most beneficial, the most healthy results. People want a quick fix, but a quick fix isn't always the best fix. And down the line, you end up having more problems. People tend to put off for tomorrow what they can do today. Health isn't something that you play with. If you're serious about, your outer body and your wardrobe, you should be serious about your inner body, you know, your console. You see, okay, so, it's like the body of the car, it's a nice paint job, but you lift the hood up and it's junk under the hood. The engine's no good, nothing's any good underneath the hood, you know. So it's like if you're gonna put the best on your body, you should be putting the best in your body. Don't say you can't afford it, because if you can afford to buy designer labels, designer sneakers, designer clothing, if you can afford to eat at, expensive restaurants, fancy name restaurants, if you can afford to eat out, if you can afford to do these different things, and you can afford to eat healthier, if you can afford to, pop bottles and make it rain and so forth and so on, spend the money on things that, promote death. Why are we stingy when it comes to purchasing things that promote life? See, money is is illusionary, is an illusion anyway, but you can use the illusion to your advantage. you know you're using it for miscellaneous things, so you're a hamster running the wheel for nothing. If you're going to run the wheel, at least benefit from it. you know and the illusion, the cotton paper is what you use to purchase things. So the cotton paper that you work for, and it's funny because people went from picking cotton to chasing cotton, working, chasing for cotton. Used to pick cotton, now they chase cotton, cotton dollars. Anyhow, um, use it wisely, use it to purchase things that'll be beneficial for your health. If you could buy big bottles of liquor, spend money on, going to clubs and VIP and buying out the bar and so forth and so on, you should be eating very good. You shouldn't be eating garbage. You know, if you're wearing designer clothes constantly and you're wearing nothing but the best, we should never catch you at McDonald's or Burger King or, something like that. You know, and then furthermore, why are we trusting strangers preparing our food? We don't see what these people are doing with this food. We don't know where this food came from. We don't know anything about it. Yeah, it may smell good, it may look good, but that doesn't mean that it's good for you. See, but that's another part of the illusion, how it plays on your senses, and this creates an addiction. You know, Um, but back to the, more about learning your species. It's very important to know what works for your species. Certain things that work for other species isn't necessarily going to work for you. It's a reason why you are who you are. You are a part of the species that you are a part of. So you need to learn that species and you need to master it, as opposed to looking outside towards other species and trying to become what they are and mimicking what they are. How can you master your species constantly mimicking other species? Do you even know your species? Do you know what you are? If you haven't learned yourself and mastered yourself, how can you go outside yourself and seek anything from anyone else? See, but people who have been trained, programmed through various mechanisms to think very boxed in, to double think constantly, to be semantical thinkers, self semantics they play with themselves. They don't question anything, they fear questions because it's not the question they fear, it's the answer that they fear. People say that they want the truth, but when it really comes to the truth, most people don't really want it. Most people fear the truth. They prefer, that pretty lie. They don't want the ugly truth because the truth is ugly. You know, so people need to realize, the truth is chaotic in a sense. The truth can make you happy. The truth can make you sad. The truth can make you feel a lot of different ways. Roller coaster type of thing. So it's constantly moving. The truth. Why I say it's chaotic. The thoughts. The speed of thought. Mercury. Um, anyhow. I mean, even when it comes to the, basic things that people do, like for example, we've somehow come accustomed to sleeping on our sides. When the way that our spine is made, it would be more beneficial if we slept on our backs on more, hard or more sturdy surfaces. Um, Animals, four-legged animals, cat, dogs, things like that, in that family, they tend to lay on their side because, the way that their spine, the way that their skeletal structure is made, it would benefit them best to lay that way. Um, you know, Basic little things. I think that we really have to get back with nature and really have to really get in tune with nature. The more natural you are, the better off you are. The more that you understand the natural things that benefit you most, you know, this will create longevity. Because no one wants to die. Even religious people that speak of heaven and a better place after, none of them are in a rush to go. And when they're on the verge of going, they're trying to do everything in their power to stay here. So that they really believe that. See, that's one of those semantics that I'm talking about. You know, um, but it's a lot of things with our species. As far as with the diet, you know, meat. For melanated people, melanites, you should not be eating meat. Animal protein is bad for your kidneys, your liver. If it's bad for your liver, it's bad for your body. It's bad for your liver, that means it's bad for your pancreas. That means it's bad for your gallbladder. That means it's bad for your kidney. All of your filtration system, your organs that filter out toxins, meat damages it. You should be getting plant-based protein. These are things that you should know, but some other species do have filtration systems that will filter out um, these meats and the nitrogens and the different things that come from eating these meats. They have systems, where they can flush out ammonia and different things, nitrogen, whereas melanated people don't have these disposal units. So you have to be cautious of what you're intaking. What's good for them isn't necessarily what's good for you. You know, you can't say that what's good for one is good for all because it's different. And even amongst melanated people, there are variations of the species amongst us, but we don't realize this. And really, we have to learn our bodies and learn ourselves. That's what I mean, learn your species, learn what works for you. You know, you're going to have to be your own guinea pig. You know, you're going to have to try things on yourself to find out what works for you. You know, because if you're going to the doctor, you're going to be his or her guinea pig. So why not take matters in your own hands and do what's necessary through trial and error to see what works best for you? And then you build your regimen based upon that. You know, you can give advice to other people based upon what might work best for them, but you can also give them options, things that they can try, you know, because, you know, something could work very good for one person, but it might not necessarily work very well for another person. You know, so we have to get past this whole color thing and thinking that just because we're brown or different variations of a shade of brown, that we are indeed the same species, if you want to call it that. But to keep it simple, I'll just use the term species. Um, Pale people is different variations in their species. Just because they all have paler skin or lighter skin doesn't mean that they're all the same species. They differ. You know, hair color, eye color, different things. A lot of things happen from species intermixing, which in the sense the generated species, the strength or the structure of the original strength, the structure of the species was generated by intermingling or mixing in with other species. But then, on the other hand, for some species, it was a benefit for them. For some people, them mixing with other species, it makes or creates hybrids of their species. But for the other person or the other species, mixing with the species could create low grids of their species. Um, so that's why I say it's very important to learn, you know, what works for you. Study your heritage. See, you have to understand, you know, when you're dealing with heritage, you know, this is your ancestry. You know, this is your roots. You know, so it's very important, you know, to learn your heritage. You know, things get passed down genetically. A lot of things are based upon habit, you know, lifestyle. You know, if your whole family eats a certain way, if you know great grandma, grandma, mom, daughter eats the same way, then likely they'll acquire the same illnesses if you know their chemistry is the same or similar enough. Um, if their diet changes, lifestyle changes, they may be exempt from these certain illnesses or, you know, falling victim to these certain things. So really it's the habits. If you eat a certain way, if you neglect yourself like your parents did, then surely you will perish as your parents did. Not necessarily in the same way, but the ignorance of not knowing and consuming things that you think are good for you that are actually harmful for you and passing this down from generation to generation and never figuring out that you know this soda or these artificial things that I'm eating or this meat that I'm eating or this sugar you know or this synthetic salt is the reason why these synthetic things are the reason why I'm ill and my family's been ill for generations. You know, we rather leave it up to some white coat to play guessing games with you. You seen House? You really think that's funny? Do you really want somebody back there playing House and you're ill? You know, but it's a dirty game. You know, you gotta learn it. But you know, learn your species, master your species. You know, stop with the versatility thing. You are meant to be the way you are. Like I said, reptiles, you know, they change their skin, their appearance, their color constantly because of survival. You know, they do this in order to survive. You know, so like I said, would you be able to survive without the superficial things that you feel the need to have on a day-to-day basis to alter your appearance to give you what you call versatility or make you feel like a new you? You know, be who you are. Learn the you that you are. Stop trying to be a character. Stop being an avatar. You know, see television, media, entertainers, celebrities, you know, they have your mind so warped that you're mimicking these people and you're trying to act out these lifestyles and you're not these people. You're not in a position to act out these lifestyles. It is not natural. If you're trendy or considering yourself keeping up with the trends, you're a follower. So you're either a trendsetter or you're a trend follower. It's as simple as that. So if you're keeping up with what's trendy, then you're a follower. See, trendsetters aren't keeping up with what's trendy because they're too busy setting the trend. See, um, people have a very bad complex of inferiority, but it's, unconsciously they don't realize it. That they feel that they're inferior to other species, so they tend to mimic these species or want to copy these species. When in actuality, these species have been copying your species for the longest and thriving by doing so, and you have been devolving, trying to mimic and copy and follow behind their species. See, but somehow in this twisted game, you thinking that you're winning, but you're losing. You know, to acquire superficial materialistic wealth, what does that mean if you have poor health? What is that going to benefit you? You can pass money down from generation to generation, but are you going to be able to pass good health down from generation to generation? So you can pass the wealth down, but can you pass the health down, which is your knowledge, passing down from generation to generation, which leaves a legacy, a knowledge tree, a tree of knowledge. Um, People have to start, you know, really, 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 really focusing on nature and getting back with nature and what's natural for them, what's natural for you makes you feel better. You won't feel so awkward because when you're naturally being who you are, you feel comfortable at ease. So it's less stress. It's better for your body. Be who you are. It's stressful to try and be a character, to have to put your swag on from day to day, worried about what other people think, their opinion of you. Why does their opinion matter so much? Everyone has an opinion. Why are we so emotional? We have to stop wearing our emotions on our sleeves because people can see them there and they like to play with them. Don't do it. Don't set yourself up for failure. You have to be proactive. Don't be reactive. You have to think ahead. You have to think holistically what's best for you. Let's think holistic wealth, you know, and without poor, without, without proper education, people, they won't, they won't ever obtain the knowledge necessary to do these things. That's why it's very important that people share this information. That people help others, assist others. With their disabilities. With their deficiencies. Um, with their complexes. With their people have questions. People need, assistance, so I think that, those of us that are in the know, it's necessary for us to share this information. A lot of us have a purpose here greater than what ego may allow you to think. You know, we have to be more selfless. People are too selfish, and we need to be more selfless, provide more selfless service for others. People think in order to help a person it has to be finance. No, because knowledge is what empowers people. So I would rather give you the knowledge that you need or the knowledge necessary for you to go out and get what it is that you require as opposed to do it for you or go out and get it for you, because that's only going to cripple you and that's only going to hinder you. And in the long run, that's not going to benefit you. It will keep you dependent. And that's the last thing you want to be, is dependent. We want to break away from being so reliant on outside forces, because that's absorbing a lot of our energy, and that is not beneficial for you. It's not beneficial for us at all. So I just wanted to touch on that. I probably make videos later on down the line. Probably going more in depth about these certain things. But definitely you have to learn your species and master your species. It is very important that you do so. You know, um, definitely. The information is out there. There's no excuses. So take advantage of it. Help you help yourself. So till next time, fam. Peace, peace, peace. And remember, rise and be greater.